Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake, and you're listening to episode 31 of Sweet Chain Live. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Andrew Fleming.
G'day, everyone. So just a wee bit about me. I did come onto the last one 2 weeks ago, but I forgot to say a wee bit about me. So I started playing when the Queen's Park course went in Invercargill. That was about 3.5 years ago, I think now. And so I started playing pretty consistently since then, got hooked like everyone else. Then in my own life, I moved up for university into Dunedin. So I'm now part of the Disc Golf Dunedin Club and recently became the chairperson. I will be the assistant tour director for what will be probably seeing the biggest tournament on tour once again. We've just hit 120 people already signed up. We're planning to get to 140. So that's going to be really cool. But I'm sure there'll be a couple other tournaments that I want to try break that as we all try to push each other further. Obviously, COVID's just hit. I'm now back in Invercargill and ready to go. Let's go, Matt.
Good stuff. And recently joined Team Sweet Chain at the beginning of this year as well. So I've been doing some very sterling work down south for Team Sweet Chain as well. So what's on the agenda for today? Well, we've got some hot scores for you in a moment. Then we're going to talk to Tom Strawbridge from Nelson Disc Golf, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about all the work that's going on in Nelson Disc Golf world and the improvements that they're hoping to make in the disc golf community there. He'll stay around for Desert Island Disc Golf and our quick fire round. And after that, we're going to be talking a little bit about the tour standings. So me and Andrew are going to be having a look at the latest T-pad results as we get very much into the business end of the season. We've only 7 tour events still to go, I think. Seven still to go, but still lots of movement that could happen. We also want to talk a little bit about, we have a statement from New Zealand Disc Golf in relation to the Redstone Armageddon, which is fantastic news. And we also want to just have a little chat about some of the responses to the COVID lockdown that we find ourselves in right now. Without further ado, we'll go through the hot scores, starting as ever down in the South Island. And I will preface this by saying that all the hot scores this week, any that were done in the last 2 days, have been omitted from our hot scores list. So starting down in Invercargill, Ethan Stout with a hot round of 15 under par. It seems like every week I'm reading out his name. You go to Dunedin, and there's a 4-way tie between Jake Brennan, Cameron Mackey, the man on my right, and Tom McKay, who all hit 7 down in Dunedin shortly before it closed. Queenstown, Luke Bell hits 13 under par. Well done to Luke. It's up at Tucker Beach, and Hemi Teafitu hits 5 under par. And across to Wanaka, Kyle Martin also hits 5 down at Ely Point. Jack Halliday hits the hot score at Lismore with 3 down, and across to Christchurch, Gregor Brosnan for the second week in a row hits 13 under par for the hot round of the week, and a tie at Queen's Park Reserve between Dwayne 92 and Jeremy Brockenshire, both hitting 7 under par. It's a familiar face in Willie T, who hit 6 under at Brooker Ave in Christchurch, and then up to the North Island. Andrew.
All right, I'm going to start off in the capital. It's Team Sweet Chain's Brett Carlisle going neg 4 at Berhampore. And he's quickly becoming an icon in New Zealand disc golf. It's my really, really, really cool boss and co-host, Matt Drake, shooting +2 at Hikuikui.
Slow week there.
Across the Harcourt Park, Luke Cunningham shot a +14, and that's second to none. We move up the country. It's Team Sweet Chain again. Brock Fraser goes neg 4 at Linklater. And it's not very often that McLaren Falls comes out second best. But this week it was conquered. It did take the best player in the country, Jack O'Sullivan, shooting a scorching hot course record neg 11. He's getting ready for the Extreme coming up later on this year.
Crazy school.
Then moving up to the Big Smoke, the El Presidente was the number 1 at the Woodhill Red Tees. Alan Gorthy shot a neg 4. And Chris Chaos, disc golf's premier supervillain, shot a super neg 5 at Henderson.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And yeah, negative 11 down at McLaren. Like, who even does that?
It's crazy.
That's just ludicrous, quite frankly.
I've played there. It's one course I played in the North Island, and I got really, 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 really beaten up.
Yeah, I mean,
broke my spirit. I thought I could have died out there. Honestly, it was that bad.
Every week I'm reading out scores of even, +4, +2, all that kind of stuff. Negative 11's outrageous. Anyway, down to Struggle Street, which saw round 2 of the Sanctioned League down at the Struggle Street Meltdown. And this week it was a 945 rated neg 6 for Hemi Tefitu, who takes out the win this week. So well done to Hemi. Closely followed, he beats Morgan Hartfeld by a stroke and beats Chris Dixon and Kyle Jolly by 2. So that's on week 2. Fingers crossed they managed to carry on and make the most of that league. It really is a good bit of fun down there. Some other results from Rapture, which happened at the weekend here in the capital. We had 50 people out at Hardcore Park playing a kind of a hybrid Hardcore Park / California Park layout, the same California 9 that will be, fingers crossed, used for Faultline in a week or so. It was random doubles in the morning, and the random number generator picked out Andy Davey and Jack Mocker as a pair. Needless to say, they went on to score a 6 under par and did very well. But they were tied with local Scott Woodhouse, who we had on the show a couple of weeks ago, and Zion Perham, who very, very new player to disc golf as well. So well done to them. In the singles, which happened in the afternoon, in MA1, Phil McLeod hit +2 and beat out Chris Houston in second place, who hit +5. In FPO, Minky Vorster took out the title with a +6, beating out Nicky Boats on +9. And in MPO, it was Andy Davey again with 5 under par, and he beat out Team Sweet Chain's Francis Orange, who hit 3 under par for second place. Now, my guest, or our guest tonight, is Tom Strawbridge from Nelson Disc Golf. So let's introduce Tom. Good evening, Tom.
How are we?
Very good. How are you?
Very good.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Somewhat living the dream.
Excellent. Well, somewhat is good enough in these times. We'll start off. I got a quick question. Tell us a little bit about Nelson Disc Golf, the situation it's in now, where you've kind of maybe picked it up from, and the process you're currently going through. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So I lived in Queenstown from probably 2013 through to about 2017, I think. And I didn't even know what disc golf was. And then I got introduced to it, and then I was, 6-pack of beer and 1 Frisbee, and that was me most days after work. And then so I came back to Nelson, not really knowing what the situation was. And then there was a bunch of old boys, as they call themselves, and they'd go around on a Saturday in Isle Park and go for the trees and things like that. And so I straight away joined in and started getting things going. And then I sort of seen Isle Park, because obviously there is baskets there. There's 9 baskets. You obviously use poles and trees as well. But yeah, I sort of was like, oh, okay, this is a pretty awesome sport. And then just in the last couple of years, myself and another guy, Ruben Cossey, who now actually lives in Te Puke up by Tauranga there, we sort of was like, right, let's get things going, let's get courses in the ground. Because Isle Park's actually part of the parks, and it's one of the 7 gardens in Nelson. And so it is quite busy with people and, dog walkers and things like that. So we sort of started looking at doing things, and with the helps of Hayden Shaw from Dish Shop, he actually lent us 9 baskets, which we were able to do pop-ups with. And so the first one we did was Redstone, which is a golf course about 45 minutes outside of Nelson. Really amazing spot.
He's gone.
Some of that famous Nelson internet. That's
Oh
been...
no, are you there?
Yeah, we're still here. Ah, good. We've got you back. Lovely.
Am I still here?
You are
Yeah,
still here.
I'm good. Okay. Matt's frozen, but
Oh dear. Okay.
there we go. But yeah, so we started picking it up, and then there's a few things that happened, but basically since Ruben's left, I've just tried to ramp it up with the helps of a few other people, being Cooper, being one real estate agent here down in Nelson. He's been amazing. He's done, for all the meetings and whatnot, he's been on the minutes and everything, and just trying to really get it going. And because people look at Nelson and think, okay, there's no disc golf there. So yeah, our goal was sort of a couple of courses in the ground to start off with, and then build it up, and then people would come to Nelson and think, yeah, let's do disc golf. Let's go to Nelson on our road trip.
Good
Pretty
on
much.
you. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think lately you've had a couple more pop-ups. I think the Brentford Bash. Talk about getting those.
Yeah, so we started so we wanted to do basically raise some money to get courses in the ground, because we've spoken to the council and whatnot. And so basically our first few moves were like, right, let's get the Facebook page up and going. And it was actually worked out all right, because one of the members of the club, Durand, he is a website designer. And so within the first week, we were able to get a website, a Facebook page, and an Instagram page. And because, I don't know if you guys watch rugby, but Nelson's more known as Tasman. So with their wider region, like the Tasman Marcos, fins up. And so, yeah, we've gone Nelson Tasman Disc Golf, because there's two councils, Nelson and Tasman District Council. So that's basically to working with them. So if you're on Facebook or anything, feel free to hit us up a like. That would be amazing. Or the website, Nelson Tasman Disc Golf. But yeah, and then basically it's just get it going. And so we're doing a winter try series, which is basically to try and open it up for Nelson a wee bit more. We'd had the first one, which is in Bramford Park, called the Bramford Bash. That happened 3 weekends ago. And we got about 32 people, correct me if I'm wrong, along there. We had Ashton come up from Christchurch, which was awesome. And then we had 4 guys from Westport as well. So yeah, when our main target market for these winter try series is locals, to get beginners involved and actually start growing the sport with the locals. But by all means, if people want to make the travel, you can stay at my place. I've got a spare bed. Go for it. It'd be awesome to have you all here. So the next one you'll obviously see it on the Facebook page, but is, well, COVID dependent. The end of this month. Start of September. End of this month. Start of September. That's out at Saxon's Field, which intertwines with both the councils, as we were talking about. And then the third one is at the end of September, which the first day will be part of the PDGA tournament that Hayden's hosting out at Redstone, but it will also be part of our winter try series for the first day, and then people can upgrade to the 2-day event if they'd like to. Fantastic. But yeah, hopefully, if we get people such as Jacko and Justin and things like that down, then some of the locals can just do the first day and see what it's about, and then watch some of the big guns on the Sunday.
For sure. And I mean, you're a bit of a big gun yourself, I hear. Newly crowned Brentford Bash champion.
Yes, yeah, I was pretty stoked to walk away with that. It was a pretty interesting battle. There was Ashton and another guy, local guy, Andrew Shepherd, and we were neck and neck pretty much the whole way. I was 2 shots behind Ashton after the first round, and 1 shot behind Andrew, and then yeah, it was literally just chopping and changing the whole time. But yeah, I ended up walking away with it, which I was pretty stoked with, because Ashton is no tough man, that's for sure. Well, no tough. It's a tough effort.
What was the key to your success?
Key to my success: keep it calm. And the beers at halftime helped, because it's not PDGA.
You're talking about keeping it calm there. I first sort of was aware of you, and you've frozen again, I think, but you might still be there, hopefully. And at the Middle Earth Open, where you shot very well in the first 2 rounds to make the lead card for the Sunday morning round.
Yeah.
And which was filmed.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know, like, what you felt going into that. I mean, you may not have been thinking to yourself, "Oh, I'm going to be filmed this weekend." So, I mean, I don't know. You might well have done, but you know, how was that? How did you feel about that kind of finishing Saturday? Going, all right, this is I'm going to be on camera.
It was. So I'd actually started a week earlier when Hayden from Dish Shop, because I used to be a part of Team Dish Shop, and Hayden actually asked me or Ruben at the time was a part of Team Dish Shop as well, if we wanted to be on the feature card. And I said, "Oh, Ruben, you go ahead, mate. You know, you go for it. I'll just sit in the background. You're right." Mm-hmm. And Ruben commented back. Well, he said back to me, he's just like, "Well, you just make lead card then." And I was like, "Oh, give it a crack." And then, and so sort of, you know, I finished the first round. I was like, "Okay, sweet, not bad." I think I was sitting about 11th or 12th, I think. And then I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a crack." And then my goal was bogey free. I said, "I don't care what I shoot, good, just bogey free." You know, I don't have a huge arm, so you know, some of those holes were quite big for me, but I was like, bogey free and I'll be happy. And I ended up shooting I think it was a 6 down bogey free. And then that shot me into the lead card on the Sunday. And not going to lie, I was shooting myself. I didn't sleep much. And then I sort of turned up on the Sunday and I was like, right, just play it like it's a normal round kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And and so the first hole I was like, all right, just do what you do and throw your shot. And then I made the putt. It hit the very top of the basket, and I was like, oh, here we go. This is a great start. Thinking it would bounce out, but no, it stayed in there. And then I was sweet. I kept my calm. And then the 18th hole coming down that hill and seeing everyone around the basket, that blew out for me. It was a misfire, a kind of misfire, and then a horrible part that we don't like talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible round to cover. I really enjoyed it, and really enjoyed watching you play as well. So, what would be your words of advice for anybody who finds themselves in front of the camera and perhaps they're not expecting it? What advice would you give them?
Take your time. Take all the time you need. Like, even if like Chris and Gwyn, they do an amazing job, and the footage is unbelievable. I think we can all agree with that. Yeah, totally. But like, you know, if Chris is up top or in a view, you know, just talk to Gwyn and, you know, just talk to them and say, hey, look, do you mind if you move just slightly to the left? And they'll do that happily. And I did that probably 3 or 4 times. And it was just like, he wasn't right in my sight, but I could see him in the background, and, you know, and so, take your time would be my biggest thing from the first time. I was actually meant to be on Flexline this weekend for the Charteris Bay Charge, but COVID flunked that one out. So, but I was pretty excited. It's like I said, Flexline's footage is unbelievable. To get in, totally. To get that coverage in New Zealand, that's, you know, everyone watches Jomi's Pro and Spin TV and that, but get on Flexline if you haven't already. Oh,
totally. And the quality of the output is up there with those. Certainly visually, it's up there with the pros in the US. So go head on to Flexline Media's YouTube page, give it a like and a subscribe, and actually go back and watch that Middle Earth Open lead card where you'll see Tom Strawbridge battle it out in the hills of Birmingham.
Don't watch hole 18.
Maybe pause it at the end of that.
Pause it at hole 18. Will be good.
Excellent. Now, Tom, we want to do a Desert Island disc golf with you now, if we may. So now, to make it a bit easier to see what discs you're showing us, we'll switch to this view. So you know the premise. You're stranded on a desert island. Fortunately, there's a disc golf course on this desert island, and you've got 3 discs with you and 3 card mates who have joined you, stranded as well. So, what are you throwing? Hello?
Are we there?
Yeah.
Okay. I blanked out, eh?
Okay. All right. So we'll move on to Desert Island Disc Golf. I'm not going to go through the premise again. You all know that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Give us the 3 discs that that you're throwing.
So 3 discs. If you know me, then you know I like my pigs quite a bit. There's quite the collection in the garage, which is actually getting absurd a wee bit, I must say. But this one here is my oldest pig. I've had it. Paul Child, from when he lived in Queenstown, he actually introduced me to the pig, and I went down to Small Planet and I said, "Yeah, I'll buy one." And so Ryan hooked me up, and this one's my oldest one, and does everything I need, whether it's tight wooded coal, just a wee upshot, flicking. I've started to flick these days. I never used to flick pigs, but sort of trained myself to, and this one flips up perfectly. If you do have any beat up pigs, because this one is well beat up, then feel free to hit me up. I'm never afraid of having more pigs in my bag. I'm not like Ricky. I don't have about 6 in my bag though. Just 4, I think. But yeah,
I have about 4 too.
Pig for me, all day, every day.
It's a very popular disc. Andrew, you throw a pig, eh? That's
I love
one
it.
of yours.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
4 or 5.
I think definitely one of the most underrated discs. Until Ricky when Ricky moved to a Nova, that's when people started throwing it, and that's when people started realizing. But yeah.
Okay, so what's your mid range?
Mid range, Avery Jenkins Tour Series Rock 3.
Solid choice.
Yeah. Staple in my bag. Fights me out of anything, whether it's headwind, tailwind, helps me with anything. I wouldn't say it's a huge beginner disc if you've never thrown a frisbee before. I'd lean towards more like a Mako 3, but I threw one in my bag pretty much once I started buying more than one frisbee, and I lost a 6-pack of beer as well. But yeah, the Rock 3, I have about 3 of them in my bag, and they're a staple. They help me out. Any sort of wind, any sort of conditions, uphill, downhill, beautiful disc. Avery Jenkins.
So the fact that it's a Tour Series would make it more stable, and the fact that is that glow plastic that would make it more stable as well?
This one's slightly more overstable. I've got a Metal Flake Rock 3 in my bag. And that one's sort of my stable, straight. Whereas this one's slightly more overstable and fights the headwind a wee bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's bloody beautiful disc. And then it was a toss up between a Shrike or a Thunderbird. But I've gone my Madison Walker Tour Series Thunderbird.
Very nice.
Yeah. Forehands, backhands, anything you want. Had a couple aces with this, and yeah, I don't want to lose it, to be honest with you. If I lose it, I think I'll be devastated.
Thunderbird's a speed 9, is that right?
9. Correct me if I'm wrong. 9, 4, 0, and 2. I'm guessing Ray Marsden will pop up on the comments shortly and correct me if I'm wrong.
So that's pretty utility for someone of your experience, right? You're going to be able to change your release angle, and that's going to be able to do a lot of different shapes for you.
I come from a baseball, softball background. So flex for me was actually Hemi Tiafatu. He's like, if you want to ever improve, stop throwing forehands. And I was like, all right, sweet, I'll do my best. But yeah, started throwing more backhands, and then the Thunderbird started coming into the bag, and there's 4 of them in my bag at the moment.
Oh wow! So your bag's just Thunderbirds, rocks, and pigs. Is that pretty much it?
Right, destroyers. It's all a Nova. Yeah, a Nova plastic for me is just amazing. Yeah, the feel of it, everything about it. I don't think I'll ever yeah, unless, something happens and I end up getting sponsored or anything like that. But let's hope that's an over.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Your pitch is frozen again. This is great. I hope that you're still audibly there. We are
episodes. So how does that work? Like, I just stream TV. I don't understand.
Who knows? So you're the free card mates who are with you. Who are you playing with?
The man that introduced me to disc golf, Hemi Chiafatu, hands down. His experience, his passion for the game and everything. He introduced me. He got me off my one disc and my 6-pack of beer, and turned me into an addict of discs. And my partner hates me buying discs now. But yeah, Hemi for sure. He taught me. It was pretty much every day after work I was meeting him for a round of disc golf in the gardens. So
fantastic.
Next one, Ruben Cossie. Me and him sort of strive together to get Nelson going. And it was always awesome battles with me and him. He still hasn't beaten me in a tournament, so I'd just like to put that one out there.
Okay, all right.
I hope he's watching. He'll hate that. But yeah, awesome card, mate. Yeah, amazing stuff. Great guy. Next one, I'm going to go up your ways, actually. I'm going to go Mitch Hudson.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, that guy's a legend. His passion, his enthusiasm, everything about it.
I can attest to that.
I think everyone can agree, whether he's putting up happy high attempts for events or anything like that, he is 100% disc golf, eh?
Totally.
And then I'm lucky enough, since I had my first PDGA tournament last year, I've been on his card 3 times now, I think. So yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. Love playing around with Mitch. That's a good choice and a great card. Very, very good. Excellent. Right, we're going to move on to our quick fire round. So the front 9 is the family-friendly front 9. You know the questions already. I'm going to go through those, and then Andrew's got a beastly safari back 9 for you. This is all about quick fire. Answer as quick as you can. So here we go. Are you ready?
Yes. Ready.
Okay. What's your name?
Tommy.
Where were you born?
Nelson, New Zealand.
Where do you live now?
Nelson, New Zealand.
What's your PDGA number?
143686.
How many years have you been playing?
Competitively or non-competitively?
All competitively.
All competitively. Will be 7 years casually, probably 2 competitively.
Oh wow. Okay. Favorite disc?
Piggy.
Favorite course?
Queenstown Gardens.
Lovely. Favorite MPO player?
Paul Macbeth. Favorite
FPO player?
Paige Pierce.
Lovely stuff. Excellent. Andrew?
All right, we're going to start off the back 9 with a guess question. I've just seen Hemi's put in a wee this or that. Heineken or Tassie Bitter?
Tassie Lager, he means. Heineken.
Sweet. Sun or snow?
Sun.
Brain or brawn?
Brawn.
Batman or Superman?
Oh, I'd love to say neither. Superman.
Meat or veg?
Meat.
Work hard or play hard?
Work hard.
Turbo or scuba?
Scuba.
Woods golf or open golf?
Woods.
And I think it'll finish a birdie and a bogey or 2 pars.
2 pars. Gets your confidence up.
That's for sure. No mistakes.
Bogey brings it down. Bogey free golf.
Very good. Absolutely agree. And so, look, thank you so much, Tom, for coming on. It's been great fun hearing about everything that's been going down in Nelson. And so, if anyone's in Nelson over the next, whenever really, give Tom a message, and I'm sure that he'll introduce you to the local courses. And if you can get to the Armageddon Disc Golf Festival at the end of September, then do so. And if you can, also there's 2 more events in the Tri Series. Is that right, Tom?
Are we there?
Yep.
Yeah, we're still there. There's 2 more events in the Tri Series. Is that right?
Yeah. So there's Saxon's Field, which is Saxon Sling, 4th of September. It's on a Saturday. And then the Bramford the Redstone, which is obviously tied in with Hayden's PDGA tournament, which is awesome. But yeah, if you jump on Nelson Tasman Disc Golf Facebook page or Instagram or the website, that'd be awesome. And yeah, if you've got any questions or you need a place to stay, I've got a front yard full of tents that you can use, or a bed or a couch. Always welcome.
Fantastic. Look, Tom, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
No worries. Cheers, guys. As always, much love.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Tom.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. That was Tom Strawbridge there, doing some great work down in Nelson, or up in Nelson, depending on where you are, and has getting courses in the ground. That's when we speak about it, but that's got to be one of the most important parts of the work that anybody does in the disc golf world is getting courses in the ground. Build it and they will come. Okay, so now we staying on the subject of Nelson Disc Golf, we reached out a week or so ago to NZDG to see if we could get someone on the show. Unfortunately, we can't get anyone on the show at this stage. However, we did get a statement from them in regards to the Armageddon tournament, which we'd like to talk you through. And Andrew, you were the one who set this up. So do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so I just had a quick message to Roberts, our new tour director, and he said a few things, because obviously a couple rumours have been circulating in the last couple of weeks, and we tried to get them clarified for everyone. So the first thing is this event has come onto the tour 6 or 7 weeks before it started, and for some that seems a bit weird. So as Roberts pointed out, in the New Zealand Disc Golf Tour policy, you can find that on their website, there is no outline to how close to the event it can get included in the New Zealand Disc Golf Tour. So this is, I guess, a way so that any tournament, just like Nelson, can pop something up and bring disc golf to their region as easily as possible.
Yeah.
Totally. And then the second thing, you go back.
I was going to say, I mean, that's what we want, right? We don't want to discourage people from having tour events simply because the season started. So yeah. What else did he say?
I think the second big thing that was coming out of it was that there was no pro divisions. So I've talked to a couple people, and this used to not be too big of a problem a few years ago. Lots of the tournaments would just have advanced as their top division, but then I think we got in a wee bit of trouble with the PDGA, and so we've had to sort that out a wee bit. Now the problem with having just no pro division, that no MPO kind of thing, or no FPO, is that some people can't play. So in the Nelson Armageddon's example, people like Jacko, Connor, Mike, and Ethan Stout, they would not be able to play the tournament. So initially that seems not very fair. They want to get their tour points, they want to go up that tour point to the top of the ladder.
And just to interrupt you there. The reason for that, let's just go through it, just in case there's anybody listening who is unsure why those players wouldn't be able to play. It's to do with the fact that they've taken cash in the past in pro events, and their rating is high enough that the PDGA have said, look, if you've taken cash in pro divisions in the past, and your rating is above a certain number, I think it's 970. Is that right?
Yep. Correct.
then you are not able, you're not allowed to play in amateur divisions in the future. If your rating's below 970, you're all good. Now, in the States, that does affect far more players than in New Zealand. However, it's starting to affect players here.
Yeah. So Roberts' reply, and I'll quote this word for word: "The exclusion of pro divisions was something I or the board wasn't aware of until the event registration was already published and it was brought to my attention by others. I contacted Hayden about this, and he said that he was happy to add other divisions if anyone else wanted to play that could not." So now, if you go onto the registration page, which I believe is done through Disc Shop, I don't know if you can get there straight away. Otherwise, you can go through the Facebook event that's up. It just says something there that if you want to request a different division, so FBO or MPO, you can do that. And I think that just is nice to bring that the equity, that fairness back to the tour.
Totally. Excellent. And it was nice to hear from NZDG as well, albeit in a statement. We'd love to get one of the board members on the show in a few weeks' time, perhaps. So staying with the tour, there are 7 tour events left, with the inclusion of the Nelson Armageddon, that are left in the season. They're all 50-pointers with the exception of one, which is North Island Champs, which is a 60-pointer, which is the penultimate event of the season, in the last weekend of October, I believe. So let's have a look at the tour standings, and let's see what we're looking at in terms of leaders and how this is all going to play out. I've got T-pad here ready to go. So yeah, there's the top. Let's get the top 20 players in the current standings. Now, for anyone who's unfamiliar with the way the New Zealand Tour works, there's 22 events now on the tour. They're worth either 40 points, 50 points, or 60 points maximum. And the winner of each event takes out the 50 typically, or 60 points if that's available, or sometimes 40 if it's a smaller event. And then the players after that are given points less than that number, depending on how they finished in relation to the leader. Okay, that goes on for the whole season, and then the best 6 scores from each player are summed, and then you get the figure at the end here. So Jackson Sullivan is leading the way. He's got 6 tournaments that he's played, and has totaled 313 points. Ben Wheellake has also played 6, and is in second place. Stephen Reed in 3rd place, and then Logan Gillard in 4th. Now, if we go to this is the open division, by the way. I've just got the open division, and yeah, I'm being asked to change it to overall, which is fair. There we go, Mikey. So Mikey Hughes in second place, I should say, with 298 points, 15 points short of Jackson. Now, in 6th place is Justin Workman. Now, Justin's only clocked up 5 events so far and is in 6th place. And we've been doing a little bit of maths thanks to the data analysis team here at Sweet Chain Live, and they've been crunching the numbers, and they tell us that if Justin scores 44 points in any of the last 7 events, of which he's registered for 2, one of which is the 60-pointer with the big star at it, round 20. You can see on here it's actually round 21, but with the star on it. That's North Island Champs, and if he can score 44 points or more, he'll overtake Jackson as Jackson's current score is. Now, Jackson can go up by a maximum of 11.5 points, I should say, if he wins North Island Champs and that will remove his score from round 12. This one here from the Topor Classic. So if Jackson wins nationals, he'll get a 60 in this. In this box, which will make this one go away, and he'll score 12 points there. So if Justin scores 56 points or more at North Island Champs, then the title's probably his. Would you agree? Is that maths? That seems right, doesn't it?
I think there is a way, and I've talked to Jacko and I think a couple others on Facebook. That it really is. It involves Jacko shutting out Justin for the rest of the year. So that means that the Extreme, which they're both registered for, and for at the North Islands. So I guess put in the comments who you think's going to top the tour. If you think there's a wild card, I don't think it's mathematically possible for anybody else. But Jacko or Justin, who's going to win? Who do you reckon, Matt?
Well, I think Justin's going to win. I think that the odds are in his favour, and he's favourite at the moment. Mikey's come back with you can only 2 majors can count. So in which case round 1 would drop, which means that he's got a 5.5 point lead, or sorry, 4.5 points that he can go up there. No more than 2. Ryan's come in and confirmed that. So thank you very much for confirming that. So what that means is that actually, if Justin scores 44 plus 4.5, if he scores 49 points or more in either of the last 2 events, so if he takes out the Extreme and wins the Extreme, he'll take 50 points. Or if he takes more than 49 points at North Island Champs, then he'll win the title. Otherwise, it looks like it's going to go to Jackson. Given that Jackson can improve on that 48.6 if he wins at Tauranga, and can push that 55 up to a 60 if he wins at North Island Champs. It's going to be fascinating between those 2. I think that's a really, really interesting battle. There's also a battle going on for 3rd place between Mikey Yu and Ben Willake. Both have a little bit to give in the rounds that are counting. If Mikey Yu can put on a show at one of the, I mean, there's a couple still in the South Island I'd expect him to be attending. Sorry, Mikey, I don't know which ones you're going to, but I'd expect him to be at Christchurch and Moonbase at the very least. He's got a 46 there that can be removed. And Ben Willake's got some wriggle room to try and get the Queenstown Classic off his record as well. So again, the 2 left in the South Island I'd expect him to take out. Any thoughts, Andrew, on those?
I think you've forgotten someone who I think will come 3rd.
Okay.
That's young Levi Stout.
Oh,
Levi is currently in 9th place, but he's only played 5 events as well. So I think
you know what? I've missed him. Sorry, Levi.
I think he's playing the Twizel. He likes to go to Twizel, and he'll go up to North Islands. So North Islands shouldn't make too much of a change to him because he can't take 3 majors. But if he does well at Twizel, when let's say he shoots at least 45, that would put him up to 310, if my maths is right, which would put him pretty comfortably in what is 2nd place, but probably would be 3rd place. So that would be my shout for 3rd.
Yeah. So this is interesting. And sorry, listeners, we should have done this homework a little bit earlier. But Ethan Stout's come in and just pointed out that Justin's already taken 2 60-pointers from majors. So it doesn't matter what his score at North Island Champs is because he's already got the 2 60s from there and he can't add another, right? So North Island Champs now doesn't become a thing. But what that does mean that is if he wins Tauranga, then he takes it out, right? I think is probably fair. That would put him on 319, and would mean that Jackson had 6 points to catch up, which I guess mathematically could be done. But would be difficult, and perhaps in a couple of rounds' time we'll know a little bit more.
And though Justin's 3rd major doesn't count for him, it will affect Jacko. So if he can stop Jacko getting the 60 points, that will actually help him. As Ethan's just saying now.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, a great example of how fascinating this is going to be going into the final 7 rounds, and we're going to be following this very closely. The next tournament, of course, is Faultline Fury, which, fingers crossed, will get some good news tomorrow, and we'll be going ahead in Wellington in just over a week's time, a week on Saturday. And so that's going to see a lot of North Island players playing in that. I know Jackson's playing in that, so he'll have an opportunity to bump one of his 48 up to a 50 then, and he'll certainly be one of the favourites going into that tournament. We'll talk a little bit more if it does go ahead, or if it is looking like it's going ahead. We'll be doing our picks for the Faultline Fury next week, so listen out for that and send through your picks beforehand, so we can see how they compare. Looking at the other divisions, let's just have a quick look at. Let's just have a quick look. You got to scroll past. My name's in there somewhere, nearly there. In the women's division, it looks like Leanna's going to be taking this one out, and has a comfortable lead over Haley. Although Haley's got some room to move, I'm sure she'll want to take the Timaru score off her card with a performance in the last 7 events. So there is still some chance of some movement if she can make some moves there.
Yeah, you can't rule anything out with Haley. I remember last year at the Lisbon when she was leading the pack, she shot something like a 14 under. That was crazy, and showing all the rest of us how it's done.
What I'm really impressed with is the depth of the ladies' field. Like, it just keeps going, which is fantastic. And a name that I expect to be on the list for next year actually is this lady here, Eilish Kumak. She's played fantastically very recently, and is only getting better. So look out for Eilish in the coming years. Over to Masters, and it looks like Mikey Yu's going to take this title out in the way that that TPAD works, is that whether you've played Masters or not, your age dictates which division you're in. So Mikey's in the Masters division, and looks like he's got a healthy lead there, which we expect him to maintain. Although Hemi will probably jump up quite a bit if he can ditch that 2.6 off his record with the next round. Looking at women's Masters, it's Team Sweet Chain's Liz Mocker who's got a lead here, and if Faultline goes ahead, which I really hope it does, then she's got a very good chance of lengthening that lead in a week or two. And looking down to Grandmasters, Dom Hayden's got a lead over Simon Feasy. That looks a little bit odd, but Simon does have this 2.5 on his record, which we do fully expect him to remove with one of the upcoming tournaments, no least North Island Champs at the end of the year. Excellent. Any further thoughts on the New Zealand tour there, Andrew?
Yeah, I'll just quickly go through who else is leading their divisions. We've got Robin Agnew and Women Grandmasters, Senior Grandmasters Chris Sinai, Women's Senior Grandmasters Jennifer Juniors, the young Levi Stout coming off his Tucker Beach Rush run. And then in the Legends, it's Peter Pritchard, currently got a very small lead on the reigning champion, Monty Westrup from last year. So it'll be interesting to see how that finishes up. But yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, so 7 events, and as you say, very interesting to see how it's going to shape up for the rest of this year. We'll be following all of the results, and you'll be able to get up-to-date results on how they're going as we go. And certainly as we go into North Island Champs at the end of the year, and not end of October, sorry, and then the Wahitapu in November. Is it early December, actually? Might be early December. Then certainly we'll know a little bit more there, and hopefully there's something to play for in those last 2 tournaments. Finally, we wanted to talk a little bit about lockdown and COVID and all that kind of stuff. So it's been an interesting week. Tuesday night, we were all informed that the country would be going into lockdown at midnight on Tuesday. And since then, there's been a little bit of communication. Some of it has been different from others in regards to what you can and can't do on a disc golf course. Any thoughts, Andrew?
Yeah, so I guess, in my opinion, and I only speak for myself in a lot of ways, it's something that, as people have come out and a couple said, well, you can play disc golf, but you can't play disc golf with baskets, and you can't play it with other people's discs, and that's not really disc golf. It's not playing disc golf. We can practice disc golf, and that means practicing on a basket that's only your basket within your bubble at home. And then potentially, I think it's all right to go out to a field. If you're the only one pretty much on the field, you've got to make sure you keep your distance and do some field work, improve that game as much as we all dislike it.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. And as far as the Sweet Chain Live perspective on all of this is, that's essentially what you can do, right? There's essentially four things I'm going to add, and the last two are a bit cheeky, but you can go out and do field work. You can throw in a field as long as you're the only one there, or there's other people who are in your bubble who you can go with. You can practice putting in your backyard, absolutely. And shout out to Bray Marsden for setting up the Lockdown 2 putting league. So head over to Facebook and check out that. Record yourself making putts or not making putts, and we'll have some results for you next week on how all of that is going. So that could be quite exciting. The final two you can do is to listen to Sweet Chain Live, obviously, and you can buy discs, which seems to be a very popular activity up and down, well, all over the world, really, right now, given the continuing shortage that we see. But yeah, in terms of disc golf, what was interesting was the communications. We've seen a number of different communications come out. A lot of clubs have taken the stance of don't go near courses. And then some clubs have said, actually, you can, but you can't play with baskets. And as you said, you can't play with other people's discs. And I mean, why bother, right? I mean, it just doesn't. And so I think that's perhaps given a message that is that has kind of muddied the waters a bit. I don't want anybody in the disc golf world to be that guy, who gets disc golf in the news for the wrong reasons. And the communications we've had from New Zealand Disc Golf as well, 2 in a week, would you believe it? Also came out and said, hey, we're in level 4. Here's what you can do in terms of exercise. What they didn't mention in their communication, which I thought was noteworthy, was that they didn't mention at all what you could or couldn't do in relation to disc golf. So it was a very general update on, hey, get some exercise and stay safe and do all these things on the Ministry of Health website, but they didn't comment at all on don't go to the course, don't play on baskets in your local park, even if they're within the local area, which I thought was a shame, because they really could have kind of made a stand of uniting the disc golf community across the country and given a very clear one message, if you like, to the whole New Zealand disc golf community. Over what was allowed and what wasn't, which perhaps would have stopped or prevented any confusion, which could have come out of all of this. Anyway, fingers crossed we don't have to deal with it for too much longer, and it's good news tomorrow at 1 o'clock when we hopefully hear an update. And I really hope that it's a quick exit. It's as quick an exit from the lockdown as it was an entry, and we can get down to Harcourt Park next week, and particularly next weekend, for Faultline Fury and the other tournaments, which take us through to the end of the season. Andrew, anything else further from yourself tonight?
No, I think that's it. Just remember, everyone, to stay safe and to be ambassadors of disc golf by not really playing disc golf. As Matt touched on earlier, we don't. We're still the new people on the scene, with the new sport on the scene. There's a lot of people that already, some of the members of the community aren't quite sure what we do, and then are therefore opposed to change. And so you don't want to give them any other reason to be against disc golf. It's an awesome sport to be played with the community when the community can play together and not during lockdown. So stay safe, everyone, and have a good week.
I think that's a great way to finish. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. See you next week. Have a good one.